Go Oaktown.
Let's play ball.
Look out, here we go.
Here it is.
This is going to get ugly here. It is.
Hello, everybody. Yep, the worst Friday night you could expect going into a 3-day weekend. There was only one game tonight, and it was the Dodgers and the Padres. And the Padres just got derailed the last two games. They pitched great. Darvish did what he needed to do, but there was no offense. There was 2 hits, I think. There was no runs. And Freckleface is probably not coming on the show because he's embarrassed. He's got to be. I don't know how we swallow this. I obviously become a Mets fan now for the next series. But, Christian, how you doing down there? You hearing the crowd leave Chavez Ravine from your house?
No, fortunately, I'm far enough away from that fucking place. But yeah, I it's kind of hard. The exhilaration of the beginning of the series just petering out 24 straight scoreless innings was a real bummer. I thought early on in the game tonight, the home plate umpire, Trip Gibson, was just giving it to the Dodgers, just letting them have everything. But it didn't matter because the Padres just did not bring their bats. And Darvish pitched great again. You know, he made 2 mistakes. And one of them went over the fence and another one went over the fence. And, they were solo shots. And, you can't go to the World Series and win it if you're going to get beat 2-0 and get shut out 8-0. Like, it's just it's a tough one to swallow,
Yeah, for sure. It you got to tip your hat. Like, I was looking at this and I'm like, man, everybody that thought the Dodgers weren't going to win was mostly because of pitching. And you have to say, the Dodgers pitching, whether it was Dave Roberts managing those bullpen innings correctly or what, but you got to tip your hat to them because whatever's going on in the celebration, Shohei shouldn't be a part of it because he went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. So the bats, Mookie didn't do much. Muncy didn't do much. Kike they made one mistake to Kike. He hits it out, and that kind of set the pace for the whole game, really. Yamamoto pitched 5 innings, so we can't really nag on him he pitched well, but 5 innings is, I don't know, for $400 million, that seems like a short outing to me. All the stars for the Dodgers offense, they didn't do much, but the pitching, that guy at the end, Kopech, he threw 102 for that last strike. It's like, I don't like any of those guys, but you got to tip your hat. Congratulations to Scuba and Jesse Alba. I think you guys are high-fiving and happy tonight, but I'm really hoping that they do not go to the World Series because it's kind of gross how much MLB has just been rooting for the Yankees and the Dodgers to go. So I just think that if it's premeditated like that, it's a bummer.
Yeah, well, and they've been, the league's been pushing for it. The TV networks have been pushing for it. And I'm sorry, but like neither this Dodgers team nor this Yankees team are the kinds of teams that even remotely echo the old, Dodgers Yankees rivalries with all those great players. They got a few superstars here and there, but it's not like murderer's row, man. I'm sorry. And if there's any positive takeaway from this series, Ohtani straight sucked, dude. He was awful. And all the network hype with the graphic and, he's due up in 2 batters. Yeah, he's due up to strike out in 2 batters. It just stop with all this over commercialized garbage, So, he's the highest paid player in the league. He's got these stupid New Balance commercials. He's a gambling addict who got away with it because, he's the golden boy of the league. And it's just disgusting. Look at how bad he was in the series. So.
Yeah. Curtis, welcome aboard, baby. Let's go Mets go. OMG, oh my God. I'm going to be singing that and hanging out with Grimace for the next week.
There it is. Yeah, you never know. The polar bear might, stay hot with the clutch home runs. And
Lindor.
They got Lindor. They got Vientos. Those three.
Sean Manaea is going to strike out Ohtani 3 times. I just don't know the Mets pitching can hang with the big bats of the Dodgers. The Padres have really good pitching. The Mets, I'm not sure if they do or not.
Yeah, that is the one big question mark, and the Mets have sort of been the surprise of the playoffs, I think. So they could continue. I mean, you know how it is. Some years, the team that everybody least expect to do it goes all the way, and let's hope for that, right? I mean, that could be an interesting series. And now that it's 7-game series, it's a little different. You got to plan around it differently. You got to manage it differently. Let's hope Freddie Freeman's foot falls off. That would be good.
Freddie Freeman's he's going to have a tough time. He looks like he's really beat up. And then the guy that left early that was playing shortstop, he was actually Guy Fieri. So he's up in Sacramento filming some Food Network thing. And I guess Kike Hernandez has replaced him. So I don't know if those guys help or hurt. I feel like once those guys were off the team, it seemed like the Dodgers started getting sparked. So,
yeah.
I mean, Kike is doing better than, what was it? Rojas, right?
Rojas,
Miguel Rojas. And then Freeman hasn't done much. So, well, what do we do? I mean, Glenn's a Dodger fan. That's what I learned last night is he's rooting for the Dodgers.
Oh, I caught a little taste of that in their pregame today, and I was like, oh, what? Like they were having a debate about it, and it was like, dude, you can't seriously be singing this song. Like, no. But if I had a beer right here, I'd cry in it just a little bit, just because we never want to see the Dodgers achieve anything, and seeing the Yankees win their series too, just it's like, no, collision course of jerks.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Scooble on the mound, Guardians at home, right? It's Detroit versus Cleveland. Yep. They're going to have a game 5, and that's going to be – I'm going to be tuning in for that one because that either team wins. That's a game that I can watch and enjoy. Like either team that wins, I'm happy. Should be some good baseball. I'd root for either team to keep going after that. So we're going to go with Detroit because I think Scooble's going to – he's tough.
Yeah. I think that game will be far more exciting than the one we watched tonight. Honestly, like those teams seem really evenly matched, and they both have really strong lineups and strong pitching, and it's real gritty baseball.
Right.
Been these like I don't know how to describe it. My uncle, I think I told you, he's claiming Detroit's going all the way.
That'd be great.
I don't know about that, but I'd love to see it.
All those guys are really good, and they just never are good together. Like Torkelson, Riley Green, they've got like really good guys. Scooble, but they're all kind of young too, so they're kind of like in and out of good. And I think Torque even went back to AAA for part of this year. Like he started out really poorly, but I'd like to see Detroit win. I'd just like to see anybody but the big. New York spent $1 million on Judge, and the Dodgers spent $1 million on, it's like, come on, guys, you can't buy baseball championships. Let's not let that happen.
Yeah. It would be sort of like the template that everybody thinks works that doesn't actually working at one time, and it's just not what I want to see. And I mean, it kind of extends out. You look at the lack of parity in the divisions between, the haves and the have-nots, the teams that have owners who are willing to spend and the teams that have penny pinching John Fisher type jerks or Artie Moreno jerks that won't spend the money. They won't build a competitive team. It's like, it just makes it worse. The league has no say, or they won't stand up for it, even though they claim they want it. And I almost feel like in the coming years, they need to start forcing team sales. I heard they're putting the Minnesota's going up on the market, right?
Well, they're talking about it. It's not official yet, but I did see a headline today saying that they're thinking about it, and that could just be that the owner wants to get out of that Correa deal.
Possibly. What do you think? $250 million we could buy that team for?
I don't know. I don't really know what a team goes for, but I'm not moving to Minnesota anytime soon. That's for sure.
Yeah, the weather and the bugs is kind of a bummer. But look, like Minnesota was hot shit the first half of the year, right? That team was looking like they were going to get into the playoffs no problem. And
why did they get rid of Arias? It's crazy.
I don't know.
Like he won the batting title and then they get rid of him. It's like, I just don't understand that. And he didn't do much for this series. And Cronenworth came up short. If I'm the Padres, I get rid of Cronenworth and just pick up Cairo for free.
Is Cronenworth the last? Is this a walk year for him, or
I don't know, but I'd lose him. The guy's a schmuck. He's just so full of himself. He's not very good. So I'd get rid of that dude, and probably pick up a starting pitcher. I mean, it's a bummer that Musgrove got hurt, but you can't go there because the Dodgers, all their pitchers got hurt. So it just is what it is.
Yeah, and you don't know how much tread is left on Darvish, even though in this series he looked fantastic.
He's getting older.
I mean, but he is getting up there, and they've got, Michael King is fantastic, I think. And Dylan Cease, he had a bad series, but he had a good season.
I'm not a Cease fan after watching him in the postseason.
Yeah, well,
he looked very like mediocre. I wasn't a fan, and I don't know if he's a free agent at the end of this year or not. Was it a 1-year contract?
I'm not sure. Did they trade? They didn't trade for him, did they?
I think so. I don't know. Yeah, they had to have, because it was like in the middle of the year.
Okay.
I mean, they
did
from
some,
the White Sox. Yeah, the Chicago one just drop them.
There were some weird early trades this year, right? Like they weren't at the deadline. They were making trades like third month in, right? So I don't know.
What do you think the what do they call it? The ratings were in Japan for Ohtani, Yamamoto versus Darvish. I mean, I heard all of Japan was watching the game. It's like 9 a.m. over there, so I bet the ratings are through the roof between the U.S. and Japan together. It must have been like great for Fox or whoever hosted that.
They probably have better ratings over there than here,
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's if you're not on the West Coast, this series doesn't mean anything to you. Nobody cares really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the funny thing is I think a lot of people they don't pay attention to the other series and the other teams that are in it. Like they don't even know until who's coming into town to play them, right? Like if it's bi-coastal, then this one was cool because it's like San Diego versus LA. It's like geographically 100 miles. I mean, that's good. The rivalry's built in. It's something to watch. But I don't think people on the East Coast are like staying up to watch it. They don't care. They'll read the score on Yahoo Sports tomorrow morning, right?
They might watch it with the sound off at the bar or something.
That's true.
Friday night, like who knows? But I think a lot of people like us watched it to hope to see the $1 billion duo go down in flames, but it was not to happen.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think game 1 is Sunday though, right?
I think it's
7-game series starts Sunday.
I guess it does start Sunday.
And where will it be? I guess Dodgers have the home field advantage.
Yep.
So I don't know how it goes anymore. It used to go 2-3, 2-1, I think. Or no, 7. What would it be? 2-3-1-1, I think, and then it went 2-2-2-1. I don't know.
Yeah, but they keep changing it. So
it probably starts in LA, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So let's get on to some more important business for a few minutes at least. Is the GM search in San Francisco, and it's been a little bit quiet, but something's got to happen soon, right?
My prediction is you're going to start hearing things early next week. And let's see, let me get a date on you. Let's see, where are we at? Okay. Monday is the 14th. Okay, so my prediction is we're going to have a general manager announced by October 25th, Friday, October 25th.
Yeah.
So
I think
next week we'll start hearing about interviews. We'll hear speculation. We'll see a lot of clickbait. There's going to be Brian Sabian, Kim Ng. We're going to hear about Owens. We're going to hear a few other names. We're going to have some photos of the Giants scoreboard in the middle of the afternoon with like somebody's name on it. Like it's all going to unfold. But Buster Posey, the one thing that I was tripping on this, Buster being the president of baseball operations is the only negative so far for me on it is this motherfucker knows how to stay secretive.
Yeah.
Like he does not let leaks out. You can't, and he's got a good game face. So you might not know until it happens. You might not get any leads with him.
Yeah. I'm actually good with that because if he's not telegraphing to us, he's certainly trying not to telegraph to other teams. Right. So I like it when they kind of keep stuff secret. And then when they make that big signing, you're like, yes, like it's not like some anticipated thing. Like, you know, these guys, I think Glenn and Eric, they're going Soto. It's been Soto nonstop. If they sign Soto after all that, it'll be a letdown, right? It'd be like, oh yeah, they signed him.
Oh no, you're kidding yourself. Those guys are gonna throw the biggest party they've ever had. They're gonna be doing that Dodger dance where you bump wieners and you're doing the it's gonna be just gross over on that channel. Probably have to ban it for a couple of nights, just how excited they'll be. Oh God.
Yeah. Last thing I want to think about is those guys rubbing their Dodger dogs together. I mean,
the Canadian Dodger fan, I can't understand it.
When you take that little dance into the locker room after a series win, it's like a Diddy party, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of those guys have been to Diddy parties.
I bet. Tiddly winks.
Well, do you got any speculations or hopes for this general manage hunt? Like, are you leaning one way or the other? I mean, let's be honest. Do we think Sabian is even remotely a chance to be the general manager? I could see him being like a guy that helps advisor type style, but I don't know. He kind of left the Giants, who have the same ownership, in a little salt in his mouth, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he sort of bequeathed the job to Bobby Evans and he moved up in the organization and then he split, you know? And I don't know if maybe he was a little bit embarrassed because Bobby Evans, his protege, the player development guy that they tabbed to come up and take the GM job, literally shit his pants, right? And just ruined everything. Nah. So maybe Sabian was like, you know what? I'm going to cut and run before my name really gets turned to mud here. I totally am convinced that he is going to have some sort of behind the scenes participation in the whole process in San Francisco. But as a titled, tenured guy, no, I don't think so. I think he likes Buster. I think he's willing to help Buster in whatever capacity Buster wants him to. And I think that's great, you know, but the GM, they got to go out, they got to do a hire, they got to make it a big thing. It's got to be a big deal. It's got to be a high profile. So
my guy's Billy Owens. I really want that to happen. I think it would be huge. And the reason, not only that he's a great, he's a great guy to fill that role, but also he's so dedicated to being an Oakland guy. And he's been there so long that if we were to get him, that kind of sets a precedence for me. That's like, we can get guys that are like there's people wanting to come here for whatever the reason is. Like if it's Buster or the money or the negotiating or whatever, I just think that's a really, instead of like, oh, we got the guy that, he already works for the organization, you know?
Yeah. I honestly think like there's some pull there with anybody that they are looking to recruit from Oakland, just because, hey, probably some of these people aren't happy they're having to pick it up and go up to Sac, right? Like, why would David Bell for GM?
I'm hearing about it. He's going to be a name in there for sure.
It's crazy. I really liked him as a player before he shattered his leg when he played for the Giants. I think he was instrumental in them, going into the playoffs. And what was it, 2002? He was part of that team, right? So,
I think so, yeah.
Third baseman, right? Like after Williams left, he was the third baseman. Great, yeah, but like didn't seem to manage particularly well. And then
you can't hire someone that just got fired by the Reds.
Yeah,
it's not a good look.
And he's being sarcastic because he hated David Bell as the manager for the Reds.
I think the Reds are going to pick up Tyro.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad get for them.
I'm telling you, Tyro in that hitter's park.
Yeah,
put Tyro out in Cincinnati and watch him excel, and we can all applaud it from afar. I just don't want to see him in the NL West.
Yeah, Cincinnati's only like 2 big pieces from being a big contender, I think.
Well, they're right exactly where the Giants are.
Yep. They're
similar record, similar team, but the difference is they have a fucking all-star. They have an amazing player on their team. Like Ellie's like one of the top guys as far as like, coming to places and being a star. Like people are like, Ellie,
Yeah. What was the stat when the last series, the Giants played the Reds, and they were saying, well, the Reds have 197 stolen bases on the year, and the Giants have 39.
Yeah. It's like Ellie had alone more than the whole Giants team.
Did he steal 60?
Something like that. Dude, he's only going to get better too. He's remarkable. He's like a specimen, and you're just like, wow, he's fast. He throws like 103 mile an hour from shortstop. He hits bombs. I think he's switch hitter. I love that guy.
He's like a big Tatis, right?
Yeah, kind of. But I think he might be a switch hitter too.
Yeah, and I think he's a little bit more athletic than Tatis,
Oh yeah,
a little more wiry. Yeah, a little more wiry, but definitely got power bat. If he can get a little more discipline to the plate, I think he's going to be a monster. And I mean, all the other parts of his game are coming together. The defense is great. The base running is phenomenal, and it's just getting a little more confident, consistent in the box. And I think pretty much any team would want a guy like that. So they're lucky to have him in Cincinnati.
What do you think tonight's loss does for the Padres as an organization? Do you think that they look at things and there's a little bit of a cleaning house in certain areas, or do you think, oh, we came up short, but next year we can do better? Like, how are they gonna handle the off season?
I think they're going to clear out some of the older, deader wood. I think Donovan Solano is gone. I think Cronenworth is probably going to be relegated to like a utility off the bench type position if they keep him around. And I think they're going to be right up there at the top of the teams contending in the market to get starting pitching. I really think that's what it is. Their bullpen is really pretty deadly.
They got one of the better ones. Is Profar that good offensively? He showed some great defensive skills this series, but he didn't really come through with the bat.
Not in the series, but he had a career year this season.
Okay.
Offensively, his highest hit totals, highest RBI totals, highest walk total. I mean, he really had his best year that he's ever had as a major league player, and he's a free agent. So,
he is again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
San Diego signed him to just a 1-year deal. And that was after they were like, basically his contract was done, and they were like, he sat around as a free agent, and then right towards the beginning of spring training, they said, come back. We'll sign you for another year. And man, it was a smart move. I mean, he had a great year. So I think he's going to be in a little bit of demand come the off season,
I think so, for sure. Do you think that the Padres are in at all with Soto?
No. Whatever happened in San Diego that caused them to get rid of him, I think is like part of the reason that will continue to be the reason that they're not interested.
Okay.
And I think we know like signing Soto is not a cheap proposition. It's going to cost a ton of money, and
years, according to Glenn and Eric, they're saying 12 years.
I
It's
mean,
a long commitment.
I don't know that I would do that. Even though he is the talent that he is, and all of that, he's still relatively young. I mean, 12 years is, how old is he now?
25?
25?
I think so.
So you're talking about signing him till he's basically 37, 38 years old. Okay. And when Harper got his, 13 years in Philly, how old was he when he signed that deal? 25? Same kind of age range? Maybe older?
Soto's 25.
Okay.
Well, his birthday's 2 days before mine. He's a Scorpio, kids.
Uh-oh. So yeah, it's comparable to the Harper situation in terms of the years, right? The money is going to be a lot more. I just don't. My take on it has been for a while now, as I've been thinking about Giancarlo Stanton and how Stanton is this power bat, but he's getting old and he can't run.
He's at the end.
He's in the twilight years, and if they know that Stanton is just degrading quickly, they're going to lose that bat. They can't afford to lose Soto on top of that. So my thinking is the Yankees are just going to try to throw stupid money and years at him to keep him. I don't see him going anywhere else. I could be totally wrong too, but something tells me that he's going to be wearing the pinstripes for his career.
I mean, if the Yankees win the World Series,
Schmitty's internet folding up.
Is it? Can you hear me now?
You're freezing up a little bit, Schmitty. Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. But your video's not synced up with your audio.
Hello?
Yep.
Did you come to that?
Oh, weird.
I'm just kidding. Is it bad?
No, you fucker. Messing with me.
No, if the Yankees win the World Series, Soto's staying in New York for sure.
Yeah, I think he's staying regardless. I really do. I don't know. And I hope, I hope the Giants realize, like, for the amount of money that he costs, they can go out and do some real damage in the free agent market and come out much stronger, because they got a lot of holes to fill. And there's a lot of unknowns with the younger guys. I mean, if I had my way with it, I'd say Bryce Eldridge stays in AAA for a solid year and gets tuned up and tuned in so that by the time he's ready to come up in 26 as the everyday first baseman, he's going to rake, What I don't want to see is them taking that talent and then putting him on the shuttle bus and just wrecking him,
I agree.
I think
they're not going to, he's going to be on the Giants at some point next year. They will not hold unless he gets hurt or really sucks in the beginning. They're and it's the same shit, man. They just get so high on these guys that have never done anything, and it's like, just give him, I don't know. He played 1 week in AAA. That's it.
Right.
So
they'll have him. Look, they'll have him on the spring squad up with the team, and they'll see what he does in spring training, and then it's 99% probability that he starts the year in Sacramento, right? And then we just kind of see how it goes. Yeah, if he's not particularly strong in Sacramento, then he'll probably stay there, right, for a while. And I just think they've gotten these hot talents, and they've thought, like, oh yeah, this guy's ready, and then they bring him up, and the dude sucks because he's not ready. It's not because he sucks; it's just not ready. Then there's guys like Luciano you don't even know anymore because he's been back and forth so many times. It's like there's no consistency to anything,
Yeah.
And that's been a big mistake. And I don't know if that's a function of Farhan being a moron. I don't know if that's a function of the player development people jumping the gun, or the fact that they had so much, a war of attrition with injuries at the major league level, and they had to bring guys up because who's going to play those positions when people get hurt? I mean, yeah, it's a weird one, but I think they need to restructure how they view their prospects a little bit. These draft picks, like, develop these guys' properties, send them through San Jose, send them through Eugene, get them to SAC, get them the everyday reps in SAC, and then bring them up September call-ups and let them see some major league pitching, right? There's a method.
I think that's what Buster's looking for in a new GM, is somebody that can scout well and build within the organization. And that's why I keep thinking that Soto would kind of like mess up that plan, because you've invested so much time and money into one guy that it's kind of like you said, think about 12 years and let's just say, for the fun of it, 500 or 600 million. Think about if you don't get that guy and you're willing to spend 500 or 600 million, how many pieces you could get. You could probably get some really young prospects that are promising for your minor league. You could get one or two key position players on the team, and or a starting pitcher or something. Like, I don't know. I feel like that route is better than one guy that's like, you put all your marbles on and then he gets hurt.
Yeah. Well, let's take a hypothetical. Okay. So if you're looking at having to commit 12 years to Juan Soto, even 10 years, okay, if you decide I'm not interested in that, I want to go out and pay crazy money to commit to 5 years of Snell, right? I want to commit to 5 years of Adames, 6 years of Adames. I want to go out and commit to, you name it, other position players and stuff. You still will not have spent what it costs to get Soto, right? And nowadays, with the injuries and how the game moves and everything else, like, you don't know. I mean, a guy could completely implode in 3 or 4 years, right? I mean, Mookie has so far held up, right? But he's what? Like, he's got a lot more years with the Dodgers and a lot of money. So who knows, right? And look at Acuna is a perfect example. One of the best players in the league can't stay healthy, man. Just cannot stay healthy. And he's costing them a ton of money, right? And so that just kind of like, I get haired out by stuff. Like, I think Farhan didn't want to sign contracts that were long enough. I think he was failing on the other side of that equation. But, committing to that much money, that many years, when you got that many holes to fill, just doesn't make sense.
I agree. Well, I think, I'm going to go dunk my head in an ice bucket and criminy sakes. Yeah, I mean, there's a long ways to go. There's still best of 7 series before the World Series. So we are going to see what happens tomorrow. We got the Guardians and Tigers, and that should be a fun one.
Yep.
And then it's on to the AL and NLCSs.
Yep. And I think it'll be good to see that game tomorrow and try to mouthwash the Dodgers out of just whatever. It's just disgusting.
Exactly. It's Fleet Week here, so we got the Blue Angels all weekend flying around.
Oh man, Fleet Week. I have really messed up memories of being a young punk rocker going to the Mabuhay Gardens and on Broadway and all that stuff, going to see shows when it was Fleet Week, and then getting brawls with Navy dudes that were on their leave.
So many Navy people.
Because punk clubs on this side of the street, strip bars on this side of the street.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, the two collided. Like
good old days. That was when there was an off-ramp onto Broadway.
That's right. When the Embarcadero Freeway was still standing.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Well, right on, Schmitty. I think we can wrap it up. And I don't know if we want to get on after the game tomorrow or not. You let me know. And
we'll see. I think, if we're around, maybe let's do it.
Cool. And I'm looking forward to that secret special guest sometime.
Oh
soon.
yeah. We got a big special guest. And actually, I'm actually going to drop the Chris Stropel episode on Monday. So there's something to look forward to also.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta text him here in a minute. I'm sure he's reveling right now. Yeah. Wow. I already got a text from Walter from out that way, and he's like, "Are you okay?" It's like, hey man, I don't have a dog in this fight, really. So yeah, of course I'm fine.
Let's get Stropel to come on for one of these live ones and just shoot the shit. That'd be fun.
Definitely, I will.
Okay, well, have
man.
a good weekend, and I'll probably talk to you tomorrow at some point. And if we're going to be up, we'll throw it up on the YouTube. And if you're not subscribed, you're not going to get notified. So I suggest you subscribe. Thanks for listening. And that's about all we got.
All right.
Peace.
Sign off. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Skaters on Baseball. If you liked what you heard, please spread the word, give us a good review, or hell, blow us up on your social media if you're down. Follow us at Skates on Base on Instagram for baseball news and other fun stuff. We love comments and listener participation, so bring it with an audio clip or an email. You can email us at skatersonbase@gmail.com. We're everywhere you get your podcasts, and we'll be here all season long.
Let's go, San Francisco. Let's go, Giants.
I'm excited to give everything that I have for these next 6 seasons and, see where it takes us.
They can't say it anymore, Complete game, shutout, no hitter, leave me alone.
See you soon. Thank you.
And I am forever a Giant.